We have some more Vanguard results, so let's go over them and check out the meta. 50 cards is actually starting a massive Black Friday sale, I think today. So I'm going to put in the comments all of the information. It's going to be huge. They're trying to get it to be the biggest Black Friday sale event ever for the store. So of course, there's going to be a bunch of discounts and insane products and so forth. So go check it out. So right here, we have BRO, but I think I also missed some BCSs. But so let's start with that. For the Asia region, we have top 8 premium. We have 2 Mega Colony. We have 2 Bermuda Triangle, but very different ones. So one is Highlander and one is Riviere. Those are basically just different decks. They use completely different win conditions. One Nuba Tamashira Nui, one Narukami, a Vanquisher Eradicator. Pretty happy for that actually, because some people were like, oh, with Demolition the deck is gonna be dead, it's gonna suck, it's gonna be unplayable, blah, 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 blah. And it turns out like Naru's engine overall is strong enough, you know, sweep, exterminate, and so forth, that it is still a solid deck. Now, it's not as crazy anymore as before, you know, it did lose some of its pressure, but it's still good. You know, you're not gonna be sad about playing this deck. So that's very good. Then we have one Nitros Gram Blue. I'm gonna assume they were knocked out maybe by the Gredoras, but we'll see. We'll see in the top 4 results. And then one Fenrir. Now this is interesting. I'm wondering what they were doing here. For EU, we had 2 Eve really disgusting loop decks. I'm glad that it topped in BRO. From what I was told, a bunch of people took this deck hoping to get it banned, but despite a bunch of people colluding to have this top and that way get it banned, barely any top, because it turns out this deck just kinda sucks. The Melista version at least is dog shit. Like, it's just a bricky mess. It is faster than Eve, but the amount of times where you auto lose is insane. Now the Eve version, a bit more consistent, but also a fair bit slower. So I'm not a fan of this deck. Obviously I would like to get it banned, but its conversion so far has not been that great. Then we have 2 Mega Colony. Oh yeah, this deck also shits on Eve. Like, you face 1 Gredora and you're out. And if you're gonna play a deck that automatically loses to Gredora, why are you not on Ground Blue, you know? So, I don't know. Not a huge fan. Then we have Highlander again. So Highlander doing pretty solid. Not as insane anymore as at Worlds or anything like that. Of course, we no longer have Katir. The History Collection also kind of made some decks better, while Highlander didn't really change. But yeah, then we have Eradicator Vanquisher again. Again, still solid. We have Shiranui. We actually saw a lot of Shiranui. Like, this deck is really seeing an uptick, which is interesting to me because I don't think it's that powerful. Now, maybe, given that it's like just stopping here and there, that means that it is indeed not that powerful. It is just solid, which is fine, you know, solid tier 2 deck or something. But yeah, still interesting. Like, whenever I play against this deck and they don't sack the living fuck out of me, I'm just like, how do I lose to them? You just guard early, and then the Mizukaze turn is just free. Like, that card is toxic as shit, you know, and there will come a day maybe where it's ban worthy because maybe they got some other support that makes them faster and so forth. If you are at like 1 or 2 damage by the time they Mizukaze you, it's like, all right, I can't guard, and you would need to hit Dragon Empire OT or hit a bunch of criticals for any of that to matter. I'm confused by its uprising here in BRO, but okay, it's still solid, you know, I won't judge. Then we have a Chaos. Chaos still pretty solid, better because of History Collection mostly. And then finally we had a Nei. So we have 2 Narukami here, Vanquisher and Eradicator, so still one of the better decks to take. We have a Highlander, we have a DP, we have a Messiah. Messiah actually has been underperforming compared to what I thought it would be doing. Like, some good players before the season were thinking this would be like one of the picks, but then gradually I guess it turned out that it's too piece reliant. Like, you need to see specific combinations of cards for the deck to do anything, and then you only start drawing like later, and then if you don't draw the Crest Creator, your deck also feels much weaker. So I don't know, it's a fine deck, but it doesn't seem too crazy. Then a Gasti, that is surprising. A Gurgit, relatively surprising. And a Celestial. Now, this deck was the most surprising of all. This was very interesting, very spicy. I didn't see the match, but from what I read was that they essentially tried to thin their deck until you eventually swung with like a infinite crits Sentinel restricted Vanguard and just auto win that way. That is hilarious. I like that. That's pretty funny. But so interesting that, you know, people can still come up with really weird decks in Premium that no one else is taking. Just solve them on their own and then it tops. So that is actually really cool. Really big fan of that. Then the NA bracket got updated. So I guess there's a DP Chaos Gasti here instead. All right. And now we can check out the actual top 4. So if we check out the further conversion, we have Shiranui in first first place. Awesome. In second place, Gridora. Third place, Riviere, actually. Interesting. You know, I like this deck. And then fourth place, we have Arad Naru. Okay, cool. Of course, this matchup was always going to turn out this way. Like, Gridora doesn't really stop Shiranui from doing that much. And eventually, Mizukaze Turbo just fucks Gridora in the ass. Big funny over there. Then for EU, first place, we have Highlander right here. Interesting. All right, big fan of the deck. Cool, that's still doing well. Second place, we had Chaos, naturally. Highlander into Chaos is pretty painful for the Chaos player to come that far and then go, oh, there goes my auto loss. Third place, we had Sage with the Eve loop. Yeah, Sage got double Pearl Sistered on stream by the Highlander player, and it turns out Eve, while pretty defensive, not defensive enough. And then fourth place, we had the Gridora right here. Next for NA, we had a mirror match for Narukami, and then third place Chaos and fourth place DP. Now, what I find very interesting here is that this means that the Chaos had to lose to a Naru deck. How does that happen? Like, this matchup is very, very Chaos favored. So I don't know if that happened on stream, but I would love to know what happened there. But then also, interestingly, the Chaos also beat the DP, which is also supposed to be like a DP favored matchup, right? So I don't know what exactly happened here, but it's definitely interesting. Then for V Premium Mexico, first place is Daniel Herrera. Okay, ex-world champion. And then we have with Tavas, of course, best deck. And then we have Highlander, Revenger, Raging Form, and Nitros. Okay, so this chart is actually beautiful to me. Mexico, well done. You have style. This is stylish. It turns out that all these four decks have in some way been my favorite deck. In G, Tavas was my favorite deck. In the previous season, Highlander was my favorite deck, and for Worlds as well. Like, it's gonna be one of my favorite decks of all time. When I started playing, and for a long time after that, Revenger was my favorite deck. And then in general, Grand Blue is my favorite deck. So Mexico, well done. You have style, you have finesse. It's beautiful. This is how all the tops should always look. Just all my favorite decks. But yeah, good job, of course. So top 8 breakdown standard, we have triple Gandiva, 2 Jet, 1 Willista. Okay, and then an Essel and a Roroa. So of course these, you know, sorry man, Overdress, it's just gonna be the same tops very often. But Essel, Roroa, okay, I dig it. And then Roroa 1. Oh, I mean, the rest here, congratulations still, but this was somewhat to be expected. You know, Gandiva was, but Roroa 1. Is it because it's so token based that it just rolled over the Gandivas? Am I missing something? That's really interesting. Then top 8 premium breakdown for Mexico. We had 2 Naru, 2 Highlander, a Neo, a Shiranui, a Gridora, and a Nitros. Okay, that's still cool. I mean, all of these are to be expected. All of these are, I'd say, top tier decks right now. Of course, I shit-talked Shiranui a bit earlier, but like, it's still up there. It's just, I think, on the lower end of all the other options. But hey, all top tier decks. Very nice, Mexico. And then the first place was the Neo Nectar. Second place was Shiranui. Third, Gridora. And fourth, Naru. This is again weird that the Gridora beat the Naru. How did that happen? Wow. Normally, this should... Again, I don't know what's up with Narus. Narus have been winning games they shouldn't have been winning and losing games they shouldn't have been losing. Quite a fair bit in these results so far. And of course, thanks to Fuzzy Paradox for all of the pie charts. I think by now everyone knows, you know, VG, little stripe, paradox.com is like the place for all of your tournament results. So for Houston, we have triple Grand Blue, 2 Shadow, 1 Bermuda, 1 Aquaforce, and 1 Gear Chronicle. Okay, nothing too surprising there. First place was Nitros, second Tavas, third Nitros, fourth Ange. Houston Standard, we had triple Greed on 2 Youthberg. Wow. Houston, you are time traveling right now. 1 Gandiva, 1 Bastion, 1 Orfist. Okay, these two are pretty based. We don't see these very often. And then if we check out the top 4, our first place is Gandiva, naturally. But second is the Bastion. All right. Ivan, congratulations. Or Ivan, depending on where you're from. Congratulations, taking that Bastion to Worlds. Third place is Youthberg. And then fourth place is the Greedon. Now for premium, we have triple Narukami, 2 Neo, 1 Mega Colony, 1 Grand Blue, 1 Bermuda Triangle. So this top 8 must have been sweaty. Because like, not sweaty as in necessarily like, oh, the craziest players ever, but more so sweaty as in like your matchups define the outcome. Like if Grand Blue goes into Eve, they auto lose. If Eve goes into Gridora, they auto lose. If Neo goes into Gridora, they semi auto lose. If Gridora goes into Naru, they auto lose. So it's just auto lose into auto lose right here. Let's see what actually then ended up happening. So first place Eve. Okay, Eve won, so they did not face the Gridora. And then everything else is the Narus. Those Narus converted very very, very well. That's very funny. That means that the Grand Blue did not face the Gradora, because otherwise one of them came in here. And then the Grand Blue still lost to one of these. So I'm gonna assume that the Grand Blue lost to the Eve, because Grand Blue losing to Naru is weird. And then for Germany, we have 3 Grand Blue. Germany, what are you doing? So aggressive. Everyone is suddenly inspired to play with art. Then 2 Neonectar, 2 Naru, and 1 Link Joker. Okay, that's pretty sweaty. This pie chart is pretty sweaty. Let's see who we had here. So first place, Johan on Neonectar. Okay, Johan, very good player. Second place, Anthony with Chaos. All right. Third place, Louis with Neo. And fourth place, Mehdi with Eradicator. That means all the Grand Blues got destroyed. We had 3 Grand Blue in top 8, and they all died to good matchups. Okay, interesting. Okay. Then Germany, standard. We had 2 Greedon, 2 Orphist, 1 Gandiva, 1 Avantgarda, 1 Zorga, 1 Ominagruzio? Ominagruzio. Avantgarda. A Zorga. You know, solid deck, but what are these, boys? 2 Orphist even. Germany went to Pound Town, I think. Where's my Willista? Where's my Gandiva? Were they banned already? No shot, right? Like, all right, cool. And then we check out first place, the Orphist, second place, Gandiva, third place, the Orphist, and fourth place, the Greedon. Okay, Orphist moving up in the world. I'm very happy for that. Then for their V Premium, we had 2 Ange, 2 Grand Blue, but different Grand Blues, it seems. 1 Aqua, 1 Luard, 1 Battle Sister, and 1 Sanctuary Guard. Sanctuary Guard? Germany, what are you doing? My boys, your Premium looked stacked as fuck, and your V and D are just so weird. All right, Sanctuary Guard, I guess, sure. And then first place Ange, second place Nitros, third place Tavas, and fourth place actually that Sanctuary Guard. So it turns out that they still won their top 8 game. Okay, I dig it. Now finally, we also have Indonesia. We have 2 Shadow Paladin, we have 1 Golds, we have a Spectral, okay. A Grand Blue, Ange, Rising, Jewel Knights, Leopold, okay. All of these decks are pretty to be expected, except for maybe the Rising and the Spectral Duke, but okay. And then if we check out, it was of course the 2 Luards converting very well. The Spectral actually making it to 3rd place. Awesome, awesome. So you get to go to Worlds, and then 4th place Eugene on Nitros. Then if we check out the Bermuda side for Indonesia, we had 2 Highlander, 1 Melista, 1 Chaos, 1 Nitros, 1 Gradora, 1 Battle Sister, and 1 Regalia. Okay. Did that convert well? So the first place was the Melista. I also saw some footage of this where they were forced to play out the full loop or something by the Bushiroad staff. And then I of course made the joke that you could then just read all the cards and maybe go to time. Of course, that's unsportsmanlike. Don't do that. But I did find it pretty funny, because generally you don't have to play this out. You know, if you get the loop going, and obviously there's no like interaction that your opponent has to stop the loop, because they might. There's plenty of decks that stop the loop just within their engine. Grand Blue is an example. Nuatama is an example. There's a couple more like that. Just a couple decks that can randomly fuck the loop like that. Of course, those you have to play it out, because you're going to get stopped at one point. But if there's no way of stopping the loop, then it doesn't have to be played out, right? Because then you just actually create the unfair environment of, what does that do? What does that do? You know, you don't want that happening. But of course, the ideal situation is just banning Murtoa. Just get rid of this, you know, toxic piece of shit card. Get rid of this deck as a whole. It's not great. Again, it'll brick, but if it's your day, you're just having a bunch of non-games. Second place, we have the Highlander. Third place, we have Chaos. And then fourth place, we have Nitros. Okay. And then for standard Indonesia, we have 2 Gandiva, 2 Melista. I say Melista again. Holy shit. 1 Minerva, 1 Greedon, 1 Bastion again, and 1 Orphist. Okay, these decks seem to be having a nice uptick. And then first place, actually the Minerva. And then, of course, the decks that we've been expecting, the Gandivas and the Melista here. So overall, cool results. Of course, I was most excited to check out the BRO results, because like, while there is less players who care right now, you know, we've had Worlds coming back, we've had Springfest coming back, we've had BCS coming back. So a lot of people are just like, I don't want to play in BRO. I still like BRO existing, because there are players who can't go to major events, you know, whether they're in a country that doesn't have a BCS and they don't have the money to travel abroad, or some medical stuff, or anything, you know, social anxiety even is a possibility. So players who normally can't go to a BCS or a major event at least have a type of major event. So I really like that. And so again, we saw some weird stuff, right? Like the Celestial and so forth. So I dig that existing, and I wanted to check it out. So yeah, very cool. Hope you found this interesting. Be sure to go check out 50 Cards Black Friday sale. Again, Again, I'll put links in the comments down below for when it launches. I think it's like a few hours from when this video airs. But so do make sure to go check that out. And I will see you soon. Ciao.